Yes, welcome, beloveds around the world, and welcome, Steve. We have Steve again here. And if you have any questions, if anything comes up for you that you want me to talk about, or if you have any questions, you can type them, and Steve will read them, and then maybe we can address them. So I'm very happy to be with you here all. And I'm getting more and more used to this online thing. I just had a 4 days full day training with Japan, and it was kind of a surprise how well it worked, how in spirit there's no distance, there's no separation, there's no gap. So you will probably feel eventually, after a while, when we meditate together, when we turn the energy around from outward to inward, that suddenly we're all connected. Much more than just through a little screen. We're connected in presence, in love and awareness. Now, I hope you're all doing well with this corona isolation thing. It's funny, when the mind thinks about it, it feels like encaged, some of you. But when we actually go in and look whether we are in a cage or not, if you go deep enough, you will find we are free. No outer circumstance can touch your inner freedom. I don't know if that makes any sense to you, because many of us are kind of so caught in our story of what we think we are or what we think is happening to us. And now there's millions all around the world, probably in a similar fear story, but also many, many people, as they are more or less forced to be with themselves, begin to look inside, and many find a space that's already free. Are you with me there? I don't know how I can get your feedback about this, but if we just shift the attention a little bit, I talked about it in many satsangs, if we just change the attention a little bit from our habitual story, especially when it's a victim story, or when it's a painful story, or when it's a stressful story, which is very addictive for our mind, because our mind can only survive in division. But when we take a little bit of a space or distance and look in, we are bound to come to a place that is not touched by thought, that is not touched by feelings, that is not touched by emotions, that is not touched by our human expression or existence. And it doesn't mean we need to deny or reject the human expression. We're all humans, we're all vulnerable, we all have our story. But more and more, when we are kind of forced not to follow the story, maybe the story becomes transparent and reveals something that mostly it's this something, this unreasonable joy is revealed through something where we believe that thing is enjoyable. For example, if you have a very good lovemaking and there is so much joy, it appears like it's a love, it's a sexual energy, it's the movement of energy that expands you, which is also true. But ultimately it reveals the spaciousness, the freedom, the openness, because you opened up. If it was a good session, you open up. And when you open up, what are you open to? You open, we call it the heart. What is the heart? The heart is in its essence empty. So, or when you take a walk in nature. Yeah, my friend wrote me today, she walked in a place called the Kunyum Range. Very beautiful rainforest, waterfall, rocks. No? I went surfing today, and the sky is so blue, and the ocean so fresh, and the white water so cleansing, and the negative ions in the air, and all that. We attribute our happiness to all these outward situations, which partially is true. But if we understand it clearly and well and rightly, the outer situation is simply a situation where that which we are already has space to shine through. And that is peace, and that is silence, and that is joy, and that is love. Does that make any sense? If it makes sense, send me a few hearts. No hearts. Come on, guys. Don't be stingy. Aha, I see a heart. Oh, good, good, good. Oh, I see more hearts. Very good. A few more. Oh, hallelujah, you heard me. Are you being nice to me or you get it? Now it's showering hearts. So now you are the situation for my happiness to arise. And smileys, hearts and smileys. It's amazing.
Can you adjust? It's a little bit out of focus. Somebody said
it's out of focus.
A little bit out of focus.
Oh, I don't know. The focus is automatic. So let's see. Maybe we can just put it a little closer. I know it's the lighting. I think we need a little bit better lighting, but we don't have in the moment. So maybe if you only see my shadow, that's good because it's not about me. It's about you. It's about who we are. It's about love. It's about space. It's about understanding. Not intellectual understanding, but existential understanding. So tell me, since now you send me so many hearts, what is it that you would like me to talk about tonight? And you can write it and Steve will tell me. And if nothing comes, if you don't respond to me, we're going to sit in silence for a while. Not as a punishment, but as a reward. I'm getting hot.
Somebody wrote space, understanding.
Space and understanding, yes. Okay. let's start with space, because this is almost every second word I talk about. So what is space? You know, you heard me say something about it in every satsang, but maybe if you are asking today, maybe you were not in the other satsang, so forgive me that we may repeat ourselves, because we can only always say one thing. So here's the insight about space, and the insight about the fact that I am space. Can you all see the lighter here? It's a lighter, it's a fire lighter. Actually, I want to light the candle today as a dedication to the space that we are. I have a beautiful candle here. You don't see it, but I see it. So, to space. Now, let's play with this. You see, everyone sees the lighter, right?
Yes, they all said yes.
Said yes. Okay, now there's three things happening. They are really important. The first thing that obviously happens is there's an object. No? The object would be irrelevant if we wouldn't see it. So the second aspect is the seeing. We all, at least those of us who have eyes and who are actually visually not impaired, we see the lighter. And then we say, I see the lighter. So what is this I? The lighter is an object, the seeing is a sensory experience. What is this I? Is that an object? No. Is that a sensory experience? No. What is this I? That's where everything stops, because the moment we think about it, thinking thoughts are objects. Who is aware of the thought? I am aware of thinking. Or I feel something. Who is aware of feeling? I. What is this I? Nobody could ever say what it is. And yet, that which says I, and please don't believe me, check it, is always there in the background. Each time we say I feel, my story is, there's an I think. My body. Whose body? Who is this my? Who is this I? You won't find it. And whoever has been meditating, and we're going to meditate in a moment, when you go in and you gently melt through all the layers of who you thought you are. Behind thoughts, behind feelings, behind the body, behind the breath, behind the heartbeat. Who am I? There's no answer, but I am. That, just to give it one of the many names, that is space. So if I am space, now take a deep breath. Check this. Don't believe me. Don't hang on the words. Let it be an inquiry. If I am space, do I have any limits? Does space have any limits? Probably you have to say no. Maybe if you have a similar sense, write no on your comment. Then I know that maybe some of you follow. So who we are as space has no limits. Now it gets more interesting. that which sees, hears, smells, tastes, and is aware, does that have a beginning or an end? Does it begin when you feel something? Does it end when you stop feeling? No. That I, that space, is always here. It took me so many years to understand or to get a glimpse why Osho put on his samadhi, where his ashes are, never born, never died, only visited this planet from then and then to then and then. Of course, my mind says, yes, what a nonsense. Of course, you were born and now you died and you're not here anymore. Not quite true. Osho's presence is spread around the whole planet in millions and millions of people. Through quotes, through lectures, through videos. Something that we still call Osho is still around and will be around forever and has been here forever. Now, why do I talk about this? Because in my understanding, that tiny little shift, which is the same shift in quantum physics, when we take the attention away from the particle, from the object disappears and it becomes the field, the unified field. Because in this space, we are all one. There is only one space. There's not my space or your space. I know from the personality or ego point of view, we are struggling. I need my space. My personality also needs my space. But it's very relative. A little bit deeper, there is no my space, no your space. There's just that which I have always been, which has no name. People call it consciousness, people call it awareness, people call it God, people call it whatever you call it, depending on your religious upbringing. Some people call it Allah or Buddha nature. It's all the same I am. And since in this corona situation there is so much fear happening and so many people struggle with fear, what if we just recognize that also the fear or the hurt or the trauma or the shame or the unworthiness or the not being good enough or the failure or the victim or the success or anything on the positive scale in itself is held already in the infinite space of the I am. When I say what if, it's actually not true. That's what it is. And fear plus space, fear plus consciousness is the dissolution of fear, because fear is an absence. It's the absence of love. You may have heard it and read it many times, but let it sink in for a moment. We cannot get rid of fear, but fear plus space is love. Anger plus space is vitality. Sadness plus space is depth, and so on. So it is only the way we look at things that define our thoughts and emotions. And when we fall behind all that, that is, again, it took me many, many years to understand what Osho meant when he talked about no mind. For so many years I tried to don't have a mind. Or no thought. No? And then each time I was trying to get rid of thoughts, I was having more thoughts, and I'm sure it's the same for you. If you try to get rid of fear, then you get afraid of fear, and then you are more afraid. Mm-hmm. Yes, there was a question.
Sajjad Gunter.
Oh, Sajjad, hi. Thank you for being with me.
Is identification the opposite of space?
No. The question was, is identification the opposite of space? No, it also happens in space. Because the moment you become aware that you are identified, let's say, what are we identifying with? With my thought process, perhaps. I am right and you are wrong. When I really believe...
She loves me more than you.
Yeah. She loves you more than me. Yeah. So if I'm identified, then I'm going to get miserable because she's supposed to love me. Right? So whenever we are identified, it means we are not aware that we create a sense of self from something that comes and goes. And if you really look from a big scale, every object, everything, every thought, every feeling, every body, every form comes and goes. What doesn't come and go? The space doesn't come and go. It all comes and goes in space because space is already no object. Does that make sense, Sajjad? It's an important question. The only, I call it thing because we give it a word and then of course it's already the lie, but the only thing that never changes is the space in which everything happens. Everything else is changing, and the moment we attach to something that comes and goes, we are identified. Now, there's nothing wrong with identification. I think it's very helpful if we are a little bit identified with our body, because then, we take care of the body, because the body is the expression of space in this lifetime. But when we remember space, that expression flows much freer than when we are totally identified with something that we think we are. If I have a certain belief, and belief is really probably the biggest limitation that leads us to identity, to a false identity. Yeah, if you, from the esoteric sciences point of view, the beliefs are in the throat, and the beliefs create an identity, and the identity creates a sense of separation from the whole. So take the belief away, and you drop into the unknown. What is the unknown? It is space. You cannot know space. If we take it further, we will recognize that this moment is the unknown. You can never know this moment. The moment you know, it's already dead, it's already past, it's already a memory. So when we are totally present, this is the beauty of presence. This is what pretty much everybody is seeking with more or less success. I just went surfing just before I came back to prepare for satsang. Why do so many people love surfing or some kind of other sports that demand your whole presence? Because when you are on the wave, or with skiing, when you are in a deep slope, carving through deep powder, you are so present that even if your descent takes 10 minutes, you will have no memory of it. Because presence doesn't have a memory. Presence doesn't have time to create something out of a flow. And then standing on the wave, and even if it's a few seconds, it is so exhilarating. Why? Because out of presence arise all our essential qualities, and one is joy, and one is love. Like when you have a deep love-making, why do we feel so much love? Because we are totally present. There's nothing else. There's just this flow of energy between the lovers. And the flow of energy is space. Energy is space. It's a field. It's a field that contains the qualities that everybody is searching for and missing because we are that. Right? I think I have blah-blahed enough. Shall we
One quick question.
Ah, okay, one quick question. Okay.
Is space the unknown?
Is space the unknown, is the question. It's a word game, isn't it? Yes, one name of space is the unknown. Another name is God. Another name is consciousness. Another name is freedom. Another name is moksha. It has many names, but no name is actually right. Because the moment we use the mind is the separation. The mind tries to make a thing out of space so it can label it. And this is our dilemma as human beings. You know, even in a place like this evening was an incredible sunset. Now, for a split second or a few seconds, we are totally present to the sunset. And then our mind cannot resist the temptation and labels it. Oh, what a beautiful sunset. And then we have killed it. Then we are more interested in our thought about the sunset than the direct experience that blows you to pieces. Does that make sense? We do the same thing with everything. Everything that we label. And the biggest dilemma really is that we label our fellow human beings. How many opinions do you have about anybody? For example, she loves you more than me. Who knows? It's an opinion. It's a label. It's a concept. It is the moment we label anybody, nice guy, beautiful person, horrible person, we don't see the person anymore, and we don't see the glorious light of emptiness in every person. And sometimes you see it in a meditator, that totally caught me when I for the first time sat in front of Osho. You know, I looked into his eyes and there was nothing, nobody. Infinite sky. It was like falling into the void. At the time I didn't understand it. So that's why we love pets. No? Pets' eyes are infinite. They don't have a mind. They're not kind of obscured by unnecessary thinking or labeling. Your dog doesn't make you feel guilty because you ignored him when you come back home. The dog is happy. Responds to presence. Does that make sense? Shall we sit a little? So whatever has been said, as you may notice, I never know what comes out of my mouth. Sometimes nothing comes, but sometimes it's just a pointer. And of course these pointers are not to be believed, but they are just to be used to inquire inside. So now we're going to sit silently for a while. And for those of you that are new here, there's many ways to understand meditation, but in reality meditation is really the stopping of all becoming and the stopping of trying to change anything. So it is really letting everything be as it is. Letting your mind be. If your mind is loud or silent, doesn't matter, let it be. Letting your feelings be. Letting your body be. Letting your story be. And what is very helpful is if your body sits with the spine upright, because it's very close to sleep, and for us here it's evening. So if you want to stay awake, keep your spine gently upright but still relaxed. And we're not doing anything. We're just being here. We're going to sit maybe for 15-20 minutes. We see how it goes. And you will notice many things come and go, and you don't follow it, you don't attach to it, and you don't reject it. Let things come, let things go. Enjoy. Feel this peace. Drink this silence. Feel it in every cell. You will find the body naturally relaxes a little bit more. When we just allow what is, when we just are the space, which we always are. And you can take a deeper breath. Gently feel the body again. Be aware of this amazing vehicle we have. It's still alive. It's a miracle. We never know. In this moment it's here. Until you find a good moment to open your eyes to a brand new moment here. You can take a little stretch. And another deep breath. Yeah. It's like we're diving from the depths of space into form, and what really is beautiful that we can, if we have a more regular meditation practice, we can kind of keep bridging the space and the form, bridging the story and the no mind, and going back and forth. Now, if you have any question or any comment or anything that interests you, I can talk a little bit more. And then eventually I would like to invite you for a very special meditation towards the end of the evening or towards the end of the satsang. But for now, if you anything that kind of touches you or moves you and you would like to have more clarity. Yes.
This is from Radha.
Hi Radha, thank you for being with us again.
Speaking of space, there is much space now between us all since the coronavirus lockdown. There is a beauty and more stillness. People seem more present and friendly. Even the earth is quieter. I haven't had a sense of fear as I don't watch the news. Could there be a kind of awakening to more awareness around us?
Absolutely. It's basically, maybe I need to repeat your question because you could not hear it.
So, because since the lockdown,
there
is more beauty and stillness.
There's more beauty and stillness.
People seem more present and friendly.
People seem more present and friendly.
The earth is quieter.
The earth is quieter.
I have not had a sense of fear as I do not watch the news.
I have not have a sense of fear because I do not watch the news. That's very intelligent.
Could there be a kind of awakening to more awareness around us?
Could that be a kind of awakening? Yes, definitely. It's kind of a global opening when it is perceived in the right way, which you do. So in a way it's a blessing, and many people have reported that even though there's space between us and, called it, how do they call it here? Distancing? Social distancing. It's a funny name. It is actually bringing us into more connection. And people are friendlier because our being is kind of kindness. It is just covered by stress and covered by survival fears and covered by all the stuff that the ego loves to kind of have a substitute for feeling good. It wants to feel better than anybody else, or fuller, or more successful, or richer, or and all that is irrelevant when we're sitting in our room. So there's no energy going into the unnecessary stuff, and we feel more connected. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. If you're looking for awakening, yes, call it awakening. And it's not personal, it's global. No? Even the earth, no? It's like things get unveiled. I just recently looked again at this picture that somebody sent me, like Delhi in the normal state, totally smoggy, polluted air, and you cannot see anything, it's very foggy. And Delhi with COVID-19 and social distancing, and you see the blue sky. And the miracle is that has not happened probably since 30, 40, 50 years ago, is that there are days where the people from Delhi can see the Himalayas. That's amazing. And not only here, the whole pollution. So many airplanes are stranded, so the air is clearer. So yes, it's quite a phenomenon, quite an amazing, global happening. And who knows what it's good for? If we learn from it, if we're intelligent enough, if we learn from it, then maybe it's the beginning of a better world. It's the beginning of a more kind world. And it's beautiful that you notice this, rather, because here, like I was at the farmer's market this morning, and people are just more friendly. Except some stallholders who are very freaked out about the social distancing, and they yell at you, but it feels absurd, it feels like the contrary, because it always needs both. But in generally there's a lot of appreciation, and people have less opinions about each other, and like that they love each other more. So yes, a global awakening. Yes.
Subhan Wengler.
Samapan or Sapan?
Subhan.
Sapan. Sapan Wengler, yes.
Can you say something about that, which is aware of thought and feeling?
Can I say something about that which is aware of thought and feeling? Not much. I can only say, you are that. Because it's not a thing, so can I say something about that? Can I say, it's almost like asking me, can you say something about nothing? No, I can't. Because everything I say is a lie. Everything I say about nothing makes it something, but it stays nothing. And of course a lot of things can be said. Osho talked about this for 35 years, 2 to 3 to 4 hours every day. And he had a skill to point towards that which is aware of thought and feeling. Trying in whichever way, in so many ways, because everybody has a different mind, to lure the mind into this understanding. And I think very few people during his lifetime understood, But now, 30, 40 years later, it begins to trickle into people's consciousness that maybe it's true, I am that which is aware of thought and feeling, and not just thought and feeling, I am that which is aware of all experience. The first time I heard this sentence was, I was watching a video from Rupert Spira, and he said something that blew my mind because it's so simple, and it blew his mind because it's so simple. It's like, what is awakening? It's the recognition that I am that which is aware of all experience. Now it's get very interesting because I misunderstood awareness for a long time. I tried to be aware because I understood Osho's message like this: be aware in your action. Be aware when you're eating. Be aware when you're walking. Be aware, which is what is nowadays called mindfulness, which is a terrible word because it's not mindfulness. Awareness is not a full mind. Awareness is an empty mind. Awareness is that which is behind mind, which is formless. So instead of mindfulness, we can call it mindlessness, which is usually very condemned in society. He's mindless. But it's more true. So I am that. That's it. Towards the end, a few years before Osho left the body, we were very often just sitting in complete silence. And they just put a chair, an empty chair, on Osho's podium as an indication that there is nobody. I didn't quite get it at the time. I thought I get it, but I didn't quite get it. The truth is that I am is nobody, no form, no experience, no feeling, no thought. And it doesn't mean thought and feeling and experience are not happening, they're all happening. So no mind is that space behind mind. It doesn't deny the mind. I am that. Feel that for a moment. I'm that which is aware. It's like we fall into a complete empty void. No bottom. Nothing to hold on. No security for the mind. So many people look for safety. No safety. Who or what needs to be safe? How can no thingness be safe or unsafe? I am that. I think it's a very beautiful and very deep question. It just propels us into that. Now, I want to use this evening, tonight, it's right after the Buddha full moon. And Buddha has been, such an incredible influence on the whole humanity. And for me personally, the Buddha full moon reminds me of our journey to Mount Kailash I think it was in 1996, where we were all excited to follow something that we heard Osho say, that every 10 years or 12 years, I think, there's a very special Buddha full moon in May. And it's a time where hundreds of enlightened masters gather around Mount Kailash. And their presence and energy makes the Buddha become visible and feelable in time and space. So Buddha descends into form. And we thought this is a fantastic idea. That's a great, great time to go to Mount Kailash. Now, there's a longer story. I'm not going to tell you the whole story, but instead of us reaching Mount Kailash at the time, after many rescues and incredible adventures where our group of 13 people, was really in life-threatening situations, we ended up in the worst place, not at Mount Kailash. We ended up in Zangmu at the border from Nepal and Tibet, with drunken Chinese everywhere, which was a nightmare because we were all living, the hotels were made out of wood and they had open fire everywhere, and we were somehow ready any moment to to feel that some hotel just goes up in flames because there was so much unconsciousness. And we were looking for the great descent of Buddha. If you manage to read my book, I hopefully make it available very soon on my website again. Something went wrong. There's a long story about that. So Buddha full moon just happened. And as we globally kind of are lifting the vibration through less business, less stress, less practical survival for some people. Other people are more in survival now. I wanted to share with you the Ananda Mandala Meditation, which is a very powerful meditation. And one of the insights is that especially those of us who have the tendency to be stressed and to be in survival mode most of the time, for whatever reason, it's very unhealthy. It weakens the immune system, and it becomes an addiction to stress hormones. And there's many ways, of course. Meditation is the best way to shift our vibrational field into a higher frequency. So if you would if you like, unconsciousness in the different chakras have a lower frequency, and especially unconsciousness in the first three chakras put us into survival mode, which is fight, flight, or freeze, and we need these hormones for the body to be prepared for that struggle, for escaping the tiger, for being able to run, for we are not aware of anything else anymore. But when we become aware of this energy, as we bring presence to it, this is one possibility, but we can also refine or move it into a higher frequency, which is, of course, happening through transformation. So we used to do the Atisha meditation in the last satsangs, and tonight I would like to invite you for the Ananda Mandala Meditation. So we will hear an Indian voice that says 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. When you hear 1, you breathe in. When you hear 2, you breathe out. So 1, 2, 1, 2, and then it goes faster and faster. And then you hear a long 2, exhale completely. Then you exhale and you put your attention to the first chakra, the Muladhara, and he sings the name of the first chakra, the sound, bang, lang. And then you hear 1. When you hear 1, Then imagine you squeeze your first three chakras. You squeeze the anus muscle, you squeeze the bladder muscle, you squeeze the lower belly, and you squeeze the solar plexus. You tighten all the muscles down there. And at the same time, you breathe in and pull the energy up through the crown into the universe. It's like almost you pull the energy out of your body into oneness. And he sings the sound for the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. And then you hear 2, you exhale, and then it starts again. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The second time, 2, exhale completely, focus on the second chakra, the lower belly. And then 1, you squeeze all the 3 first chakras and pull the energy up through the crown into the universe. Because we are not just particle, we are also energy. 2, exhale. And then we go through all the chakras. It's very powerful and very beautiful, because you cannot hold on to misery, because you're open to energy that gets refined. The frequency of the heavy suffering of stress in the first 3 chakras becomes lighter through the heart, and then it becomes love, and then it becomes understanding and expression and creativity, and then it becomes clarity, and then it becomes oneness. And all that experienceable through the physical body and through our personality. So enjoy. It's a powerful meditation, and the main thing is that you breathe. You breathe through your nose as deep as you can. The more total you are, this is another secret, the moment you are total, there's no more division, there's only one energy moving, which is very nice, very beautiful, very energizing. Shall we try that? Okay. So sit with your spine upright so that the energy can easily move up and down. And close your eyes. And enjoy the meditation. I very much recommend it each time you are somehow caught in some kind of suffering. You just enjoy and transform or heighten the frequency, and you will see it's very easy. So, get ready.
One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Deep breath.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Fill your lungs.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1.
All your attention,
1,
all your energy
1, 2.
into the breath.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Whatever happens to the body, many sensations, keep breathing. Deep breath. In, out, in, out, in, out. Breathe.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Stay with the breath. Keep going.
1, 2,
Deep breath.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Exhale completely. Focus on the Mooladhara,
The first
chakra.
focus all the way down.
Lung. 1.
Squeeze the first three chakras. Inhale.
Focus on the Sahasrara.
All the way up
The
through the crown.
Om Satyam. Om.
Hold the breath up
2.
and let go.
Exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Deep breath. Really fill your lungs
1, 2,
and push it out.
2, 1,
Make space inside.
1, 2,
Breath is space.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, two.
Deep
One,
breath.
Two.
Keep going.
1, 2. 1,
Be total.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Exhale completely. Focus on the Swadhisthana, the second chakra.
Hold the breath out.
Vam. One.
Squeeze and pull the energy up.
Focus on the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. Om Satyam. Om.
Hold it up.
2.
And relax.
Exhale. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.
Deep breath.
2.
Keep going.
1,
All the way.
1.
Don't be shy.
1,
Give it all.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Exhale completely. Focus on the Manipura, the third chakra.
Hold the breath down.
One.
Squeeze the first three chakras.
Inhale.
Pull the energy up.
Focus on the Sahasrara, the crown chakra. Om Satyam. Om.
Hold it.
2.
Relax.
Exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Deep breath. Keep going.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Exhale completely.
Hold the breath down.
Focus on the Anahata, the heart chakra. Yang. 1.
Squeeze.
Inhale. Focus on the Sahasrara, the crown chakra.
Hold it up.
Om Satyam. Om. 2.
Relax.
Exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Yes, breathe. Come on.
2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. One, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, two, one, 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 two. Exhale completely.
Hold the breath.
Focus on the Vishuddhi, the throat chakra. Hum. One.
Squeeze the first three chakras, pull it up.
Focus on the crown chakra. Om Satyam. Om.
Hold it. Let go.
Exhale. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2, 1.